Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Films and Stuff podcast. I'm Ethan, joined by the ever-present Pete. Hey, Pete, what's up?
Not much, buddy. How are you?
It has been a busy summer. 2 weeks ago, we reviewed F1. 1 week ago, we reviewed Superman. Next week, we are going to review Fantastic Four, which means this week it's a great time for us to catch our breath and review our summer box office predictions.
Absolutely.
So we are end-ish of July. The official summer cinema season is from May 1st until
August 31st.
All right. Now that we're looking to turn the calendar page to August, and frankly, I think it's fair to say, after Fantastic Four First Steps is released, that is kind of the end of the big summer blockbusters. The momentum for each film will already be well underway. It's just a matter of, which one's going to kind of clean up in those last few months of summer, right?
Yeah.
But more or less, we'll have there may be some adjustments at the margins, but more or less, we will know what has been a success, what has been a flop, which ones still have a little bit of staying power and can increase their box office revenue. If it were the Olympics, we would kind of know who the medalists are and the general order of everyone.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Should we start this by overviewing our lists?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll be helpful to just do a very quick run through of what our top 10 predictions were, including our two wild cards.
All right. My number one prediction, yet to be confirmed, is Fantastic Four First Steps. I thought that is Marvel. It's something Fantastic Four has got a huge following. It's a little bit new. It's probably one of the bigger superhero, movies coming out. I still think that's going to take number one. I'm comfortable with that. I put Jurassic World Rebirth number 2. I thought that's going to be an awful movie. I was correct. I also thought it would make a lot of money. I was correct. Pretty comfortable that I put that at number 2, but I don't think it's going to end up there. Number 3, Mission Impossible 8, Final Reckoning. I thought that, the star power of Cruise carry this. Then I put as number 4, How to Train Your Dragon, which I have not seen, but I've heard fantastic things about. I put Thunderbolts number 5, which I loved. I put Superman number 6, which we reviewed last week. I put Ballerina at number 7. May have been a little bit aggressive. Number 8, I put F1. May not have been aggressive enough. Number 9, I put Lilo and Stitch, 2 bonkers characters made for kids. Don't know anything about them. Obviously, that's been a runaway hit. Number 10, I put Elio, which is a Disney Pixar disaster. Wild card number 1, Bad Guys 2. Wild card number 2, 28 Years Later, which is the sequel to the sequel, which I think has done okay. All right, my friend, on to you.
I guessed Jurassic World number 1, Superman number 2, Lilo and Stitch number 3, Fantastic Four as 4, How to Train Your Dragon number 5, Thunderbolts is number 6, Mission Impossible at 7, F1 at 8, Ballerina at 9, Elio at 10, and my 2 wild cards were Final Destination 8 and 28 Years Later.
How are you feeling about your list?
Going through our lists, at the moment, our lists are pretty okay.
We also don't have anything embarrassing. There's no Garfield, for example.
I will never live Garfield down.
Nor should you. Take solace in the fact that for the first 2 years of the Predicties, you have defeated me, despite the fact that year 1, you only had 9, and year 2, you had Garfield. So actually, the joke is on me. The point is, we don't have anything dramatically embarrassing.
Nothing egregious. That's right.
No.
That's right. And I would say that both of us right now have 8 in our top 10. I'm
Yeah.
not counting Fantastic Four yet because obviously it's not out yet, so we have no idea how it's
Yeah.
going to do. And we
Yeah.
both had Elio in 10th place, and Elio right now is in 11th.
Bomb.
It was a total bomb,
Yeah.
and I don't see it coming into the top 10.
I think the big thing is going to be where Fantastic Four ends up. Should we just recap where we are gross worldwide right now?
Absolutely. Let's start off with number one. Lilo and Stitch at number one, which is so far, it just crossed $1 billion this week.
Pete, just help me understand. I'm a middle-aged man. In 2 sentences, why this is such a popular movie, and is it justifiably so?
I think a lot of it has to do with nostalgia. This movie was a surprise hit when it was an animated show 20 odd years ago or 30 odd years ago, whenever it came out. And so those people who are watching it now are not just watching it for themselves, but they're bringing their kids to it. So it's like it's becoming a generational thing.
Is it justifiably a good movie?
I really liked the animated movie when it came out. I would say that this one has made a few changes here and there, but I take it with a grain of salt because I was also much younger when that movie came out. So, is it justifiably good? I would say this is a wait for streaming as it stands.
Yeah.
But if I were, an 8-year-old boy or girl, would I love this movie? Absolutely. I think it'd be great.
Yeah. So Lilo and Stitch just crossed $1 billion, like by a whisper. After that, numbers 2 through basically everything is relatively compressed.
Yeah.
Like it's not like there's 1 billion, 800 million, 700
That's
million.
right. That's right.
There's a relatively big drop off now between number 1 and number 2. And then everything is like pretty, I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions in some cases, but kind of jammed up, right?
Yeah, I would say that the race for second, again, we're not looking at Fantastic Four because that's not released yet. We're not looking at Bad Guys 2 because that's not released yet. But if you look at it, you're absolutely right. We've got a clear gap between 1 and 234. 234, the gap is only $20 million, not even 20. It's like $15 million in between. Then everything else is, sub $400 million.
So number 2 is Mission Impossible 8 Final Reckoning at about 585 million, which 2 observations. One, for the number 2 movie, seems kind of low that we're below 600 million.
Yeah.
And also, Mission Impossible came out earlier in the summer season than later. So it's not like
that's great.
Superman, for example, came out last week. It's got runway. Mission Impossible 8, I feel like no one is going to the cinemas this weekend to see Mission Impossible 8. Of course, there will be some, but it's like, it's basically running on vapor now. If it's at 585, it's going to end up at 590 here.
Yeah. Will it get to 600? Maybe.
Yeah.
Is it going to get to 700? No way.
No way. Okay. Number 3.
How to Train Your Dragon with 571 million.
I mean, that's kind of where we saw it, right? I had a number 4. You had a number 5. Performed well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit more runway for it. You still got the summer. It's still a kids movie. So I imagine there's a little bit more runway to it. Number 4, Jurassic World with 570.
You and I have seen this movie. We panned it. I thought it was just a steaming POS. And let's face it. I mean, 570 million is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's the budget of a small country. But considering the Jurassic historical precedents, where like they were just like printing $1 billion a summer.
Yeah.
This is, I think, even by their franchise standards, this is kind of a flop, right?
Yeah. Again, you're right. A movie that makes $570 million to call it a flop is pretty bad. But yes, relatively speaking, you're still $400 odd million short of the last movie. The last movie made just over $1 billion as well. So not great.
It's kind of the scenario that you can imagine, kind of like, the Universal executive who was touting this as Jurassic Park is going to carry us. This is going to be the next big thing, blah, 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 blah. It brings in, 570 million and the tune has changed, which is, hey, what are you guys complaining about? This was still very profitable. Like this performed really well, right? You kind of change your tune from it's going to carry the studio to, hey, it's nothing to sneeze at.
It's not taking us back. Exactly.
Probably makes you wonder though, like if there's a group that's responsible for like, okay, what are we going to do in 2 more years for Jurassic World? Who should we get to, play the lead character? And how about this person? Or how about this person? I imagine that group is having a deep, deep rethink in terms of where does this franchise go? Is the world ready for another Jurassic movie in 2 years? Do we need to take a break, a pause? Seems like this should be a wake-up call.
Yeah.
For the franchise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're out of the 500s. We're barely into the 400s with the number 5 ranking, huh?
Yeah, like that's right. Now we've
gap.
got F1, which has 401 million.
F1 is number 5, which is higher than both you and I expected it. Although it's probably going to drop when Fantastic Four comes out. It's only done 400 million. Is that what you thought? Not thought? What do you think?
I wasn't sure how much money it was going to make, to be honest, because at least in the American market, which, to be fair, represents, generally speaking, anywhere from 40 to 60% of worldwide grosses.
Yeah.
Formula One, in terms of racing, is still niche. Like professional racing is still a niche sport overall, but Formula One doesn't have the same cachet as it does in Europe and the rest of the world. It's growing. It certainly has in the last couple of years, especially with the Las Vegas Formula One track, with the Miami track being introduced a couple of years ago.
The Netflix documentary.
The Netflix documentary. All of these things have helped contribute to its growing popularity. But in terms of ranking, in terms of sports, Formula One still is very low in the US market, right? I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to football, to basketball, maybe even not even to hockey.
If you are an executive at Formula One and you see now, I mean, again, I wouldn't say no one is going to see F1, but it's kind of, the momentum is kind of past. There's not a whole lot of runway. It's not getting to 500 million. It's got like a couple weeks left in cinemas, but generally, if you really wanted to see this movie, you've probably seen it by now, right?
Yeah.
How do you view a Brad Pitt movie that was pimped by Apple TV, had a huge promotional campaign, and has done $400 million and $1?
I'm happy because the movie itself has done critically well. And Formula One is such a wealthy sport, they probably don't care if it makes any money. As long as the movie doesn't denigrate the sport, they couldn't care less.
So I think those are probably the bottom bullet points that would have been elevated to the top if you've got to put a good spin on it. I would say before the summer started, considering that F1 was behind it, considering Brad Pitt was attached to it, considering the promotional campaign it got, I don't think money-wise anyone is happy with 400 million. And to put it another way, if Brad Pitt just did a random no-name movie that wasn't called Formula One, it was just called The Need for Speed or something, you could probably say it may have done something, and a different female lead, Ariana Grande, just making it up, Lady Gaga, you probably could have said like, well, we'd expect that movie to make 400 million. I agree that I think everyone has said, wow, the racing is amazing. The camera angles are great. Love the action. I don't think anyone's really kind of said like, yeah, but the movie's pretty good. Like, I feel like this is financially a little bit of a disappointment for everyone involved.
I think when it comes to sports movies, especially ones that are kind of produced by the respective sports bodies, financial results are less important because these things are more like PR opportunities. I don't think Formula One greenlit this movie and decided to throw their weight behind it because they were like, hey, you know what? for every dollar we invest in this movie, we're going to make $5 and we're going to make a lot of money and that'll add to our budget. I think they said, you know what? If we're spending $100 million on this movie, in terms of promotions, in terms of material, in terms of time with all our drivers, that's advertising spend for me. That's not a financial decision. I'm not spending that $100 million because I expect to make $500 million back. I'm spending that $100 million because that's how much I would spend to advertise Formula One anyways.
Pete, I admire the argument. And I think that if you spoke to a room full of everyone at F1, you could make that case. I don't think that's how it would be looked at. Not that it was, hey, we've got the second revenue stream. We're going to make money in the movie.
So I think you have to remember there's two things, right? One, Formula One as an organization doesn't care less because Apple funded this movie. It wasn't Formula One that paid $200 million to make this movie. It was Apple. And so Apple certainly is going to look at the numbers and say, shit, we only made $400 million on $200 million. This is a loss making for us, right?
Yeah.
Because that $200 million doesn't include any money for prints and advertising. Now, I imagine a lot of the prints and advertising was taken care of by Formula One. I imagine Formula One, as the organization said, we already spend a ton of money on advertising. So we're going to advertise for an extra 10%. We'll also advertise the movie for you. As a studio, Apple, certainly, I agree with you. 100% what you're saying is 100% right. But if you're talking about Formula One as an organization, they couldn't care less.
Let me do a new game with you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Let's call it A-list, stock is up or stock is down. Mission Impossible 8, Final Reckoning, is now in the number 2 spot, right? Behind only an animated movie or semi-animated movie, something that it's totally different genre. Tom Cruise, A-list actor after Mission Impossible 8, stock up or stock down?
Stock down.
Oh, really?
Because Tom Cruise is not just an actor. He's also a producer. He's also like a creative head.
I would say stock up, which is, hey, this guy's, I don't know how old he is, somewhere between 55 and 90. I would say like his stock is up. He's still a leading man who carried a franchise to number 2, 600 million. I mean, not dramatically up, but I think that his stock is up and said, okay, we can cast him as a lead in the next movie next summer.
Can I counter that? Tom Cruise, the producer, also greenlit a budget of $400 million for a movie that made $585.
Okay.
A studio then has to make sure that, hey, if we're going to hire Tom Cruise, he can only act in the movie, not produce.
That's right. That's right. Scarlett Johansson, stock up or stock down?
Stock up.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
She gets to be the main lead in a Jurassic World movie.
I would say stock down.
Interesting. Okay.
We've now identified that Jurassic World, which has this huge history of just churning out billion-dollar movies, now it's the lowest grossing movie. I would say she was a great Black Widow. She is no longer a leading A-list Hollywood character who can carry a movie. She can be someone's girlfriend. She can be someone's wife. She can be a B-list or C-list character, but she's no longer the lead of this movie starring Scarlett Johansson. So I would say stock down after this.
Okay.
Yeah. Brad Pitt in F1. Stock up or stock down for Brad Pitt as a leading man, Hollywood A-lister after the performance of F1. Really?
Yeah.
Something must be in our water today because usually you and I are so aligned, and now every one of these were opposite.
No, you know what it is? I think you know what it is? I think you and I are also having a difficult look. I'm not saying that you and I are experts in any way, shape, or form, but I think generally speaking, when we see a movie, we tend to look at the holistics of the movie as well. It's not just the critical response. It's also the financials. It's also the production, and we're mixing a lot of things. Are we looking at the actor and his effect on the movie? Are we looking at the movie or are we just looking at his performance?
Yeah. I'm saying let's just say you and I wrote our script, right?
Okay.
Separate episode. And we had this big meeting at Universal, and they're like, guys, this is going to be the 2026 summer blockbuster. It's going to be released on the July 4th, weekend. We're doing casting now. We got a huge budget. Who are you guys thinking is a leading man? And if you said, well, I think Brad Pitt, would the room be like, okay, like that's could be on the list. Who else you got? Or would they be like, I mean, if you said Pedro Pascal, right? Everyone would be like, yeah, okay, that's a great one. Let's see if he's available, but let's get a backup. But I feel like Brad Pitt, it's like, after F1, is that the biggest name we can get? Like, did he carry that movie? Is he still have the worldwide kind of something? That's what I kind of mean by the stock up, stock down, was Brad Pitt's ability to carry a movie or a franchise higher or lower after F1? And I feel like it's lower. That great guy, professional, likable, but is he still have the same cachet when it's movie starring Brad Pitt, movie starring Tom Cruise, movie starring Scarlett Johansson? Anyway, I think those are the three that have I mean, we could do ballerina as well, but we'll get there later.
Okay.
So that's the top five. F1 barely crossing the 400 barrier, probably going to drop to number 6 after Fantastic Four comes out. Number 6, the bottom 5, hit me with it.
Number 6 is Thunderbolts.
It's at 382 million. It's kind of locked in there, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think of 382 million for Thunderbolts?
Relatively low, but to be fair, I had it at a relatively low position.
Would you say that Marvel is kind of like, we really hoped it would have been doing better, right?
Yeah, but I also think that Marvel knew that this wasn't their summer tentpole. I think their summer tentpole is firmly on Fantastic Four.
Yeah. All right. Hitting number 7, Final Destination 8. Have there been 7 prior Final Destinations?
There have, yeah.
Really? Have you seen any of them?
I think I remember seeing Final Destination 2 in the cinema, and maybe even 1, but that was donkeys years ago.
Yeah. All right. Number 8 with an asterisk. Asterisk because it was just released 1 week ago.
Yeah.
Literally, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't include the numbers from this weekend. And this is the second weekend with a clear runway. No competition, no real competition.
That's right. Superman at 273 million. Currently sitting at number 8, but probably after this weekend could jump as high as maybe 5.
Yeah, with the worldwide, could absolutely do that. Yeah. But then it's got an uphill climb, huh?
Yeah, where do you think this is going to end up?
I don't think it's going to do better than 5 or maybe 4. Again, it really depends on how well Fantastic Four opens next weekend. If Fantastic Four opens to be a smash hit, then Superman's done because people aren't going to go back to see Superman after that.
So it's interesting that if you look at the numbers, generally, not always, the opening weekend is kind of 40-ish, like in the 40s. The percentage is in the 40s, right? Like the opening weekend versus kind of like the overall take. Would you say that's right?
In the US, yes.
It's performed 272. It seems like the maximum it's going to get to, using that kind of like rough calculation method, is kind of like 550.
I think 600 is the upper limit for Superman.
Yeah. So it's kind of jostling. It's going to blow past F1, and it's going to be in the top. It's going to be in the top 5, but it's going to really need to like get serious in order to beat out Jurassic World Rebirth, to beat out How to Train Your Dragon. Like it would need to have a monster weekend to kind
This weekend will tell us everything. I think I think we'll get a really good idea of how well it's going to end up placing after this weekend.
Yeah. But it seems, based on the good opening weekend, it seems like it's going to be, at worst, kind of the end of the top 5.
I think it'll be a top 5.
All right. Superman's going to go up. So realistically, number 7 was Final Destination, which is 285 million. Now we're the last ones, which are 9 and 10, are like half of that, right?
Yeah.
So number 9, currently it's 28 years later at 140 million worldwide. I have not seen this. I didn't see 28 days later or 28 months later. Did you?
I saw 28 days later, but I didn't see 28 weeks later because that wasn't a Danny Boyle movie.
I mean, this is kind of what it was expected to do. Is that right? It's a
Ish,
franchise, third
ish.
installment.
Again,
Yeah.
modest budget.
Yep. And then number 10, which I think is a real summer disappointment. John Wick, so-and-so ballerina.
Yeah. Well, I think Elio is going to be the real disappointment. But yeah, Ballerina,
That's true.
I was hoping would have done better, but unfortunately has not.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's based on a few things. One, it's a rated R movie.
Yeah.
John Wick was niche at best, right? I mean, that's not a date night movie. That's a bros going to watch fighting. No kids at all. It was very masculine. Ballerina is now a spin-off of John Wick, so you're expecting less Ana de Armas, who's lovely, by the way, but maybe not enough of a brand name, or maybe not enough of a A-lister to kind of carry it to a higher place. Let me ask you this in the scenarios of scenarios. If Ballerina stars Scarlett Johansson, does it do better or worse?
Tough call.
My knee-jerk reaction is marginally better.
Mine too. I think about the same, but I think slightly better because Scarlett Johansson probably has slightly better cachet than Ana de Armas.
Scarlett Johansson also being Black Widow, I think there is a little bit more of a she's a
believability.
Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. The flip side is that Ana de Armas, who's like double pretty, like there's also a little bit of cachet to seeing someone who's like pretty and small and lithe, like fighting,
Yeah.
All right, Ballerina, if it had Charlize Theron, better or worse?
Worse, I think. I think marginally the same, but I think slightly worse. I think because Charlize Theron is slightly older, and I think that she's seen as less lithe.
Got it. So now we drop out of the top 10. Number 11, which is really the summer box office bomb.
Yeah.
Elio, Disney Pixar. You've got it down at a budget of 150 and it only made 120.
Yeah.
By all accounts, it's a bomb, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have yet to see Fantastic Four First Steps. We have yet to see Bad Guys 2.
Yeah, Bad Guys 2 comes out middle of August. And really, I think that's the last major release in August.
Yeah. What are your overall takeaways from this?
I would say in general, the big takeaway is that there is a significant gap. Generally, you tend to see a little bit more of a waterfall in the results, right? So if a movie crosses $1 billion, the next one is like at 700 or 800 million. Whereas here, the gap is much, much more significant. It almost seems like Lilo and Stitch is an outlier and not a part of the ranking.
I think in 2 weeks, we're going to have almost a clear, definitive order. But I think by next week, after we see the opening weekend for Fantastic Four, we're going to have a pretty good sense of how this shakes out. I think Superman will kind of solidify its position. Fantastic Four will be able to kind of project if it's going to get to $1 billion or not, right? I mean, if it has an opening weekend of 150, it's never going to hit $1 billion. If it has an opening weekend of 300 million,
it's got a shot.
I think the next 2 weeks are going to be kind of where this all shakes out.
Yeah. And in general, I mean, look, based on the movies that we've predicted and seen so far, the operating budget has been close to $2 billion and receipts have been close to $4.5 billion. So overall, do I think they're profitable? Some yes, mostly no.
I think overall it hasn't been a banner summer for the box office.
It certainly hasn't.
I'm a little bit surprised by that because the way that I've seen these movies staggered has given audiences a lot of time to kind of focus on each big release,
Yeah.
Like Mission Impossible came out. It was on every screen,
Yeah.
Jurassic World came out, every screen. Superman, every screen. F1 every screen. So it kind of was a big thing. And they almost all had like at least a kind of a 2 week runway unimpeded. I could say, like, if you go to the movies, you're like, should I see F1 or Mission Impossible 8? They're different genres, but it's not like, oh, should I see F1 or should I see How to Train Your Dragon? So
Yeah.
I feel like each of these big blockbusters had their own space, and some of them just didn't perform
Capitalize.
really well for no particular reason. I mean, if I'm being very negative, but looking at it, no one is like a new young star. Like if you
Well,
look at the
David
top,
Cornsweet, Superman.
David Cornsweet, I think is the only one who's kind of like, but usually there's like someone who's kind of like a stand-up comedian or like on Saturday Night Live, and it's like, or they're on a TV show, and then it's like, well, this is their first leading role, like Mission Impossible 8, no, right? Jurassic
These
World,
are all
no.
franchises. Every single one of
Yeah.
these movies is a franchise,
Yeah.
except for F1. I mean, Superman is the start of a new franchise again, but it's a part of an encapsulated franchise.
Yeah. I think when we look back on the casting of F1, we will be dramatically questioning all of their choices for the casting of F1. I think in retrospect, if you really want to be critical about this movie and say, okay, let's have a breakdown. Why did F1 we gave it everything that it needed. Why did this movie only generate this? I would say you could look at every one of the 4 main positions, maybe even 5, and say it was badly cast. That you should have had someone not Brad Pitt. That the guy who played opposite Brad Pitt, apart from Snowfall, which I loved him in, not well known enough. The love interest of Brad Pitt, horrible choice. Javier Bardem, maybe not the best choice. The guy who is kind of like the team principal, the guy who was on Killing Eve, maybe not the best choice. If you could go back and recast that movie, and maybe you say maybe it was the casting of F1. Mission Impossible, you can't cast any different.
F1, I thought wasn't a casting issue. I really thought it was a script issue. I thought it was very predictable in almost every way, shape, or form.
As a movie, I completely agree with that. But then you have to say, look, F1 as a movie, we knew was going to be absolutely predictable, right?
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't going to be, considering that's Apple, considering that's F1, we were never going to have this really innovative, edgy kind of film. So the only margin, I think, is the cast and how they have a great deal of chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, not my decision, but that is our first look at how the summer box office is shaping up. Unlike last year, which was dominated by Barbenheimer, here, apart from Lilo and Stitch, no clear breakaways. Yeah.
No, not yet.
What is your level of excitement or enthusiasm for Fantastic Four?
I'm really worried. I want it to do really well.
Like, what's causing the worry? Is it just like your personality, or like there's something that you've read or something?
Nothing that I've read. I've tried to go into it completely clean, but I'm worried because I think that they haven't delivered in the last 4 or 5 movies. This could do it, and this really is going to set up the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the next couple of phases. So it's a really important film.
All right. You saw the trailer and you have your own feelings about it. Let's say you're my brother who is not like a huge cinema fan, not really in the MCU. That's your customer that goes from making a $400 million to a $1 billion movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to get guys like that. That trailer's not going to do it, right?
No, it's not. If I were your brother and what I know of your brother, having watched that trailer, I don't think your brother's going to go to it. I think your brother's going to go to it only when you and I call him up and say you have to go see this movie if it's worthy.
So do you think the trailer wasn't a good trailer?
No, I think the trailer was fine, but it didn't do anything that stood out to me.
Isn't that the point? I mean, for me, if you're making a trailer, right? Okay, we've got the team together. I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it, but we're like, okay, let's make a trailer. What should the trailer do? The sole purpose of the trailer is to drum up enthusiasm for a movie that people who wouldn't otherwise see the movie now are like, wow, that looks good. I want to see that movie, right? Isn't that why you show trailers at the beginning of every movie? To be like, hey, this is coming soon. Does not look exciting. I got to see it. You're always going to see it. Trailer, no trailer, right? Your trailer, you would see this movie and I would see this movie if the trailer was just coming soon.
It could just be a PowerPoint slide of a picture of the Fantastic Four logo and a date.
Coming soon, Fantastic Four, starring 1, 2, 3, 4 on this date. And you and I would be like, whoa.
That's because you and I are different.
Yes.
But like your brother would see that and be like, what the hell?
Exactly. So if you're making the trailer, the purpose of the trailer is only to take someone who is on the fence or unaware and convince them that this is something they should see, right?
Yeah.
And we both agree the Fantastic Four trailer doesn't really do that.
No, definitely not. In fact, Superman's trailer was way better.
I'm so happy you said that. And it's good that we're back to agreeing towards the end of the episode. All is right in the world. I agree with you that I watched that Superman trailer and I went from like, I'll see it because I gotta, to, oh, that guy looks like a pretty good Superman. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Not dramatically so, but I would say the trailer was better than the movie.
Sure. Yeah, I can believe that.
Having seen the trailer, I'm like, this could actually be an 8 out of 10. Having seen the movie, I'm like, okay, that was a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
But Fantastic Four, I saw the trailer, and I'm like, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
You're previewing the movie.
I mean, at best right now, like it seems like a wait for streaming based on the trailer.
They definitely have a budget for trailers and for people
100%.
to watch the trailer. I mean, I always think of it as like this, private cinema, and there's like a touchpad. And isn't there a question saying, hey, we just showed you the trailer. Are you more or less likely to see this movie?
Yeah.
And I just don't understand if there's 10 people watching that private trailer, right? There's all backgrounds and ages and demographics and blah, blah, blah. Was it more than 5 people that said yes? Because I feel like it's not. And if it's not, then I feel like you should say, all right, start again.
Start a new
trailer
class,
team. Yeah. Trailer team, keep making this trailer until I get 7 people in the cinema who are more likely to go see this now.
Yeah.
That's it. Change the music, change the scenes, change the narration, do something. But if you can't make this exciting for 7 out of my 10 people in this screening, then it's not a trailer.
Yeah. Oh man, it's only making me more anxious for next week.
Yeah. Pete, before we sign off on this very special episode, can you read off our YouTube and other social media creds so that people can like, agree, disagree, comment, so on and so forth?
Absolutely. Leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to like this video.
Listeners, thank you for joining us on this very special 1 hour long episode of the Films and Stuff podcast, where we talked about the summer 2025 box office and our predictions for it. Pete, thanks as always. We will see you again next week, same time, Films and Stuff podcast.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.